I'm Cecilia, I live in Zurich and I love train travel, and I'm trying to visit all 1,720 public transport train stations in Switzerland. Back in May I went to Basel for the day because it was open House Basel. That means they open a bunch of buildings to the public which are usually closed, and I got to go to a train station, a government building and to a residential building. I really like open house, so it was a great day out. Good morning. It is well after 10 a.m. and I'm about to go to the station to catch a train to Basel because it is open house Basel. If you've not been to an open house weekend or open house day before, I love them. They're some of my favourite things, and basically I first came across it in London when I moved there. So that would have been autumn of 2008, and I dragged my flatmates at the time to Apsley House, which so open house weekends in general are something where you open or you can visit places that are usually closed to the public, or in some cases like Apsley House, they are usually open to the public, but you'd usually have to pay, and then they're free on that day. And it's great. So you get to go and see things like offices, and I went to some beautiful lawyers' offices on Lincoln's Inn Fields once. I've been to many different infrastructure-y things. One of the best was there's a Victorian sewage plant, which you would think is horrific. It's actually just great, just all this painted metal everywhere. Also went to this thing that's like a heating facility, so they heat up lots of water and then push it through all of the flats nearby, and it's apparently very efficient way to do it. And where else have I been? I don't know, I can't now think of a lot of them, but I've always had a wonderful time. And in Zurich, that was really like the first thing that I did when I lived in Zurich that first year, where I felt like, okay, this is not an awful city. I really didn't like it the first few months. Work was overwhelming and I was miserable and alone and it was COVID. So yeah. Anyway, I've not been to Open House Basel before, and I have 3 things planned. That's my usual approach to the open house days now, because I used to try and pack loads into one day and then I just feel really stressed. So not doing that anymore. If all 3 go well, I'll be happy. If only 1 or 2 work out, that's all right too. So the first one is something that I've booked. It's a tour of the Basel Bad Bf, so it's the German railways train station in Basel. And then the second one is a building that's a government building. I believe it's the job centre basically, but it's a historic building. It looks interesting. And then the third one is the Glass House, and it's I think late 20s. It's actually not technically in Basel, it's in Weil am Rhein, which is the bordering German town. So they work like one town though, the trams go through both, etc. But my ticket, my public transport ticket for Switzerland, is only valid up to the border. So I would have to walk into Germany, but in this case it makes hardly any difference, I think, so it's all right. So yeah, that's like an older, I think also office building that faces the Dreiländereck, which is the Dreiländer means 3 countries and Eck is corner, so it's the point where Germany, France and Switzerland meet, and it overlooks that little bit of the Rhine. So I'm looking forward to all 3 of them. Hopefully they all go well. First one I have been able to book, so that should be fine, and the second and third one are first come first served, so I just need to try and be there reasonably early to each one. So yeah, let's go. On the train now, 58 minutes from Zurich to Basel. and then that's not actually the train station that I'm going to do the tour of. Instead, I'm then going to walk to the other train station. There are train connections, I could do that, but I thought I didn't want to cut it too close in terms of arriving like at the last minute for something that's a tour. So if all goes well, I'll arrive in Basel on time, and then that will be enough time to walk anyway. Arrived in Basel right on time, and it's either a 9-minute train or a 40-minute walk to the other train station, and I have just about an hour before my tour there starts, so 40-minute walk sounds perfect. And miraculously, the weather here is marginally better than in Zurich. It was starting to rain in Zurich, and it's not supposed to rain here, so that's a plus. Open House Basel. Yay. I don't know what this is actually, but it looks very nice, and I'm nearly at the train station. Oh, it says University. Your Institute for European Global Studies. Wow. This is gorgeous. I've never been in this street before, and I didn't know about this. Oh, there's a garden too. No time to stop just now, but that is something that I need to see more of at some point. And I had a quick look earlier. It said that climbing the tower of the train station is at your own risk. So that means you get to go up the tower, I guess. I hope it's not too scary. And I think I'm nearly there.
Es ist natürlich so, dass der Bahnhof früher noch.
He showed us some photos, and this used to be the German side of the customs checks, and it was so much prettier. And then this is a bar. I need to get going, but that was the third class dining room. was great. That's like perfect open house weekend stuff for me. They had one guy from the architecture firm that is doing the renovations, and then one guy from Deutsche Bahn, which is the German railways, which operate this place. So it was really good. One thing that I had no idea about is it's called Badischer Bahnhof, Basel Badischer Bahnhof, which means like Basel train station off Baden, kind of. And that's because this was built by the railways of Baden when Baden was still its own individual, what's the thing, that dukedom? Is that a word? So basically it was its own little country, and they were building their railway to Basel, and because it was the railway of Baden, it then now is called Basel Badischer Bahnhof. But it was only built or finished and opened in 1913, so Baden as its own country didn't really exist for much longer, and they have a whole bit that was built as somewhere for the Duke of Baden to go if he ever got to this railway station. Apparently those exist in other train stations along this line as well, but he never made it because it was such a short time before it didn't really exist in that way anymore. But that's where the German consulate is, which is where we started this tour, and it was so good. Really, really enjoyed the tour, and I think I might go to McDonald's now, because they said that used to be an inn, a pub, something in that direction, brewery actually as well, I think, which is it moved when this train station moved. So there was a place called the Vat Egg, or he named it, the guy who founded it named his beer Vat Egg beer, which means waiting corner beer. And that's because there was a little corner there where people had to wait for their trains, and he thought people might like beer if they're waiting, and then it moved along with the train station when this train station first moved, which is a crazy thing to do, moving a train station, but yeah, so cool. And now it's the McDonald's, and I'm really hungry, and I don't usually go to McDonald's, but kind of craving a milkshake. Is that a horrendous thing to have? Probably. Maybe this is a bad idea. Might still go in and see if they have anything that I might actually want to eat. But that's the building that pub or something used to be in. And while I'm walking over, it's about 20 minutes to the next place that I have on my list. That one I do not have a booking for, and it's only 20 minutes, and I was planning to be there in about 45 minutes. So I think I have about 20-25 minutes to spend wherever and have some food, because I am getting quite hungry. I think what I'll do instead is I'll just walk towards the centre. I'm sure I'll find a bakery or something to get something more sensible at. The whole reason why I didn't wash my hair this morning, despite the fact that I would usually wash it, it's been 2 days, is that I think I might catch a cold. So probably shouldn't be having icy drinks, etc. anyway, or junk food in general, really. So, off to the centre. Super, danke. That was really nice, except that a guy sat down behind me after a short while and started smoking, which I massively resent. When did we decide that all of the outdoors can be polluted by people either driving around or smoking? I really just don't get it. But other than that, it was very good. Surprisingly nice hot chocolate. And now it's a short walk to but hopefully I can see another building. Got a ticket. I would say that was interesting, but not as good as the train station. The train station just had more interesting history as a building, I thought. And it's basically a half circular building, and that part was nice to see. And the roof terrace is very, very good. There was a lovely view, so that was all really cool. I'm honestly feeling a bit tired, but the last spot that I wanted to make it to today is just across the border into Germany, past the Dreiländereck, which is the little bit with the three corners, like the three countries, sorry. And I was planning on taking public transport, but it's 50 minutes to walk and it's actually not particularly late. I have an hour and 10 minutes to get there, so I think I'm just going to walk. If I get too tired, then I might switch to the bus or tram or whatever goes in that direction. But it should be a nice route, like pretty much along the river. So hopefully there is a nice path, or I don't know if it's a street that's kind of removed from the river. I will see. But hopefully it's a nice walk. And yeah, I just feeling a little bit like I might get ill, but I won't get ill. I do not want to get ill. It's a short week this week, so it would be ridiculous to be ill. But yeah, fingers crossed. It took me forever to find this place because it didn't really look like a road, the bit that led to the house that I was visiting. So I went into the shopping centre, came back out. Well, it took forever. This was kind of hard to find, and I mean, it's a really nice little corner here. It's literally on the corner of Germany towards the Rhine. So hopefully there's still space on that last tour.
Dann hat man sich überlegt, nachdem also das Einkaufszentrum gebaut wurde.
that was very interesting. Basically what the building is, I thought it was offices for some reason. It's not, it's flats. So it used to be part of a textile factory, but they didn't actually make anything in that particular building. They used it for quality control. So the windows are gigantic, almost floor to ceiling, so that you can inspect the fabric. The beams in the ceiling have holes in them so that people were able to then put sort of sticks in those that held the fabric, and you could inspect it from there. So very interesting in terms of what they used to use it for. And then it was closed in the 80s. It was built in 28 and closed in the 80s. And they tore down the rest of the factory, which used to be around here where the shopping centre is now, which really is just like literally, this is the start of Germany. This is like, hi, welcome to Germany. And people wonder why, but anyway. So they kept that particular building. It's now under, it's sort of listed, or, it's got some sort of protection. And now they're all flats. And clearly, the people who live there must be absolutely loaded, because those flats are gigantic. And some very creative uses of the flats. The first one, she didn't want anyone to take pictures or anything, so fair enough. But it was basically like, I don't know, it looked like a set of a loft flat, just stuff all over the place, and like open everything. There were books on the floor, stacked on the floor. There was basically an open wardrobe in the middle of the room, and it's just this incredible space. And then the other one was the widow of an apparently famous Swiss artist. I looked him up. Really not my style. And her flat was also not my style, but she was fine with people taking pictures, etc. So that was interesting. And then the last one has just been sold, and it's 400 square meters, which is about 17, I think, times the size of my flat. Why would you buy a giant flat with a view of a shopping centre on one side rather than a small flat that has only nice views? Don't get it. But hey, each to their own, I suppose. I'm going to catch the trams back now, 2 trams, and then train back. "19 minutes on this tram. I'm going to Basel Theater." I don't really know where the theatre is in Basel, but hopefully somewhere central. And then I'm changing for another tram there. So apparently this is Basel Theater. That's the theatre, this white building. And it's only an 11-minute walk to the train station, so I'm not going to change trams, I'm just going to walk there. On the train, we're about to leave. There's a TGV on the other platform, but I don't think it's going anywhere for the moment. Otherwise, I quite like taking the TGV. Sometimes I take it from between here and Zurich, because within Switzerland it just counts as a normal train, so you can get on without any reservations, etc. that are extra. Once it goes into France, you need a reservation, and the reservations are quite pricey. So yeah, think I'm gonna finish I'd remembered once I opened my laptop what I needed to still work on for the video, and it was subtitles, so I'll continue with the subtitles. I took the same route back to Zurich, so it took 56 minutes to get there. Arrived in Zurich, and I am going to remember to run my errands now that I've been meaning to do for a little while. Got what I needed from the pharmacy. I need to look into their loyalty card actually. She asked me if I have one, and I don't have one, but I do go there fairly regularly, so maybe that would be a good idea. But mostly, I really like that pharmacy because they seem to employ much older people sometimes. So they have like a variety of people, but I think it's really great. Like if they, there are definitely a couple of ladies that are a lot older than my mum. And my mum is getting close to retirement age. She's in her early 60s. So if they're a lot older than my mum, they're hiring people that are well into their retirement age, and well, why not? If they're doing a good job, why not? So I like that, and it's such a beautiful space. They used to be round here, like while there was construction going on. For years they were in this ugly black container box, and now they're in this gorgeous space, and I love going to the pharmacy as a result. So supermarket and then home. Put my stuff away and then make dinner, and I cannot wait. I'm absolutely starving. I've not had a lot today and it has all been sweet. I need to fix this. But yeah, so it was raining on the way back now as well. Definite end of the weekend vibes. Anyway, dinner. Some technical chaos going on. Disney Plus is behaving strangely and skipping episodes and playing the end of one episode over the start of another episode, goodness knows why, and like rather big spoilers also if that happens. Literally, I was watching one episode where one of the main characters was killed off in the previous episode, and it was in the previously on, but it didn't show me the episode where that happened, so thanks. Also, for some reason, the locations, like the saved locations that Premiere Pro is referring to, aren't what I think they should be, so I'm trying to work that out. I'm gonna have some tea now. I made a very milky tea. I think we're getting to the point where it's like, this is not crazy milky, it's just very milky, so it's good. And it's in my Bluebells mug, which I like a lot. And then that's going to be it for this weekend. It's a pretty short week, just Monday to Wednesday this week. Thursday is a public holiday. So I will see you next time. Bye.